The next morning, she leaves for a short sailing trip with some friends. A violent storm tears the sky apart. Their boat flips. They barely survive. Stranded on the wreckage, shaking and soaked, they spot a massive ship drifting toward them through the fog. It feels like a miracle until they step on board. The ship is completely empty. No crew, no sound, just endless hallways and the feeling that someone is watching. Then they see it, a message written in blood on a mirror. Go to the theater. Moments later, a gunshot echoes. One friend falls, panic spreads, and somewhere in the chaos, a masked killer whispers something chilling. The only way to go home is to kill everyone. Ress runs, she hides, she fights to survive. But when she finally corners the killer and pulls off the mask, she stops breathing because she's staring at her own face. The film opens by introducing a woman comforting her young son. The boy has clearly been frightened by a bad dream, and she gently hugs him, assuring him that it was only a nightmare. She tells him softly not to be scared and reminds him that she is always on his side. This woman's name is Jess. The following day, Jess is seen getting ready to leave the house. She notices something unsettling. Her son's toy is broken and lying there. Inside the house, her son is busy drawing, but while doing so, his coloring materials accidentally spill across the floor. Jess begins cleaning up the mess, and at that exact moment, the doorbell rings. She goes outside to see who it is, but no one is there. Confused, she returns inside. Soon after, Jess starts packing her luggage. She invites her son to come along with her, but he refuses and clearly does not want to go. Since he doesn't agree to join her, Jess makes the decision to leave him at home and goes out by herself. When she meets up with her friend, he notices something off and asks her why she seems worried. Jess brushes it off, saying she isn't worried, just extremely tired and exhausted. Her friend then introduces her to his other friends as well. The group is planning a vacation, and the boat they intend to travel on is called Triangle. Several friends, including Jess, board the boat together. After boarding, Jess lies down and falls asleep. While sleeping, she dreams that she is standing alone on a beach. Suddenly, she wakes up in fear, clearly shaken. One of her friends comes over and asks what happened. Jess explains that it was probably just another nightmare and nothing more. Elsewhere on the boat, Jess's friend Greg is having a conversation with another friend. That friend asks Greg whether Jess had planned to bring her son along for the vacation, and if so, why she didn't. Greg replies that Jess told him her son had gone to school. The friend points out that it's Sunday, so that doesn't make sense. Not long after, a massive storm begins forming and moves rapidly toward their boat. Greg tries to contact another ship over the radio to ask for help. While doing so, he hears the voice of a woman over the radio saying something disturbing.
I hear you. What's your position? Over. Distress caller.
The transmission suddenly cuts off, and moments later, the violent storm hits their boat. Despite trying to control the situation, the storm completely overwhelms them, and the boat sinks. Thankfully, everyone is wearing life jackets, which allows them to survive. They climb on to the overturned wreck of their boat, but they soon realize that one of their friends is missing and nowhere to be seen. As they struggle to understand what to do next, they notice a massive ship approaching them from a distance. They wave their hands desperately for help. Eventually, they manage to board the ship, but once inside, they realize something is terribly wrong. The entire ship is completely empty. No crew, no passengers, nothing. While exploring the ship, Jess tells Greg that the place feels strangely familiar, as if she has been here before. The others discover a picture hanging on the ship. The image depicts the ship itself along with a king. Beneath the picture is a story written about a king who once escaped death by tricking the god of death. The king believed he could live forever and desired immortality. The group reads this story together, unaware of how deeply it mirrors their own situation. Suddenly, they hear a metallic clanking sound. When one of Jess's friends checks, they find Jess's keys lying there.
These are mine. These are my keys.
What are you talking about?
They're mine.
Standing right there with them, so how could her keys already be on the ship? That she might be Heather, the friend who disappeared when their boat sank. Believing this could be true, they take her to a room to examine her. Once inside, they are stunned to see that the room contains many items that appear to have been placed there very recently, as if someone had been living there. When one friend asks about the time, they notice something disturbing. Jess's watch has stopped at 8:30, while Greg's watch has stopped at 11:30. Around this time, Jess suddenly notices something strange and unsettling. As they continue exploring, two of their friends remain behind in one of the rooms. Jess and Greg are talking when they hear a sound coming from another room. They go to investigate and find a chilling message written in blood on the mirror: "Go to the theater." Jess warns Greg not to go, believing it could be dangerous, but Greg ignores her and enters the theater anyway. Jess returns to the previous room where she finds a freshly prepared meal. However, when she comes back again moments later, she is horrified to see that the food has completely spoiled. Even worse, the two friends who were in the room are now gone. She assumes they may have stepped outside. Suddenly, a friend of Jess appears, completely covered in blood. He attacks her. In self-defense, Jess fights back, and during the struggle, the man dies. At that moment, she hears a gunshot. Jess immediately runs toward the theater. Inside, she finds Greg lying there, having been shot. One of their friends is crying uncontrollably and tells Jess that Greg's last words were that Jess shot him. Jess is shocked and insists she didn't do anything like that. Another friend then says that Jess came to their room earlier and told them Greg was calling them, which is why they went there. Jess has no memory of doing any of this and is completely confused. Suddenly, a masked stranger appears and shoots both of her remaining friends. Jess runs for her life, with the killer chasing her.
Please don't shoot. Please.
Go, go, go!
I have a son. I have a son.
Eventually, the attacker runs out of bullets. Jess finds an axe, grabs it, and attacks the killer, injuring him. She demands to know who he is and what he wants.
Who are you? Tell me!
The man replies, "Killing everyone is the only way to go." Moments later, he throws himself into the ocean. Jess is now completely alone on the ship. Soon, she hears voices and sees something terrifying, the same wrecked boat from earlier, with everyone standing on it, including herself, all begging for help. Horrified, Jess realizes something is terribly wrong and runs away. At this point, it becomes clear that Jess is trapped in a time loop. Her friends board the ship again, and Jess secretly follows and observes everything. The events begin repeating exactly as before. This time, the real Jess watches everything unfold and realizes she has already lived through this. Overwhelmed, she drops her keys, which explains how they appeared earlier. She runs into another room and sees another version of herself. A struggle breaks out involving her friend, who gets injured when his head hits a metal handle.
It means you're gonna die. You'll die.
Jess then discovers a room filled with papers. Written repeatedly on them is the message, "Kill everyone when they're on the ship." She also finds dozens of lockets, each belonging to her. This confirms the horrifying truth. She has been trapped in this loop for a long time. Determined to escape and return to her son, the real Jess decides she must break the loop. She takes a gun and attempts to kill everyone. When one of her friends appears, she hesitates and cannot shoot him. She sees another version of herself with the group and hides, attempting to kill that version instead. In the process, her friend dies. Later, she encounters Greg again and realizes the horrifying truth. It was she who killed him before.
The older version of Jess manipulates the remaining friends, leads them away, and murders them. One friend escapes to the control room and sends out a distress message over the radio. She is killing us. This is the same message Greg heard earlier, confirming that one full loop has now been completed. The cycle continues. Bodies pile up. Jess tries to change things, but every attempt only causes more deaths. Eventually, she throws another version of herself into the ocean. Before dying, that Jess repeats the same warning she once heard. Killing everyone is the only way. Later, the real Jess wakes up on the same beach from her earlier dream. She returns home and sees another version of herself abusing her son for leaving his toy outside. While peeking through the window, her son sees her other version, causing his cup to fall to the floor. When that Jess steps out after hearing the doorbell, the real Jess enters the house and kills her. Her son witnesses this. This is the scene from the beginning of the film. Jess hugs him and tells him it was just a nightmare. She hides the body in a bag, places it in her car, and drives off with her son. While she is speaking, a bird suddenly crashes into the windshield and dies. When Jess goes to bury her, she finds many identical bodies, revealing that countless versions of Jess have done this before. After that, her son begins to cry a lot, and while trying to console him, distracted and horrified, Jess crashes the car. The Jess who dies is not the real one. After that, the director presents this scene in a very intriguing way. Here, when Jess dies, as the camera rotates, we see another version of her standing there, something I will reveal at the end of the story. She is watching her own death and her son's death. At that moment, a taxi driver calls out to her and asks where she would like to go. Jess tells him to drop her at the harbor. When she reaches the harbor, the driver asks her, "Should I keep the meter running? Will you be coming back?" In response, she says that she will return and then steps out of the taxi. From there, the very first scene of the movie begins again. This is where the film ends, in a continuous loop. Now let's move on to the ending explanation. What was the film actually trying to show? This movie is the story of Jess, who is trapped in multiple loops and keeps trying to save her son by attempting different time travels or by trying to break the loop. To truly understand this film, it is very important to understand the events revealed at the end. In reality, Jess was supposed to go on a holiday trip with her son. However, they had an argument at home before leaving, which left her son very upset. While she was trying to calm him down, they met with an accident in which both mother and son died. Here, the mystery of the driver is revealed. In truth, the driver is a messenger of death, a grim reaper whose job is to take souls after people die. That is why he introduces himself simply as a driver. Jess, filled with deep guilt because of her argument with her son, believes that her son's death happened because of her. She asks the driver for more time, and again she tries every possible way to save her son. This continuous attempt is what creates the loop. This is how I understood the film. Friends, how did you interpret it? Let me know in the comments below.